I need to look at my, leave. It's going to be a local law, but I have to take the time and look and figure it out. So it's either the city or.
Oh, wait a minute, here, you can take mine.
South.
I wrote it on my, and then the Wednesday.
I think it's a local law. As soon as possible. And.
Yes,
Yeah.
as long as it's not right now, and then yes. Together, we can schedule it for January.
Yeah. Yes, yeah.
I have to call down, I can call a city attorney or something. It makes you feel better that other. Helps you doing it, so.
We got a minute, next one. Is that online?
Yeah.
In shape, got a number of students here.
Okay, and their credits for this semester.
That's Sarah out today too?
Spoke to her earlier. She said, she didn't say anything about not being here. so
Okay.
I expect her to be here.
Stuff off.
Oh, we have
We're
four.
good.
We're not gonna vote together though. No dissent. No dissent tonight.
Hopefully it's
She'll be here. I guess.
there she is. Oh.
Right on time. Oh, I know one of you can dissent.
Okay. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag, of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
See a number of you, which I guess are here for your school engagement. Is there anyone here in the audience that has a question, an issue, a concern that they would like to address to this board that is not on today's agenda? Okay, thank you. With that, I'll ask the clerk to take the roll.
Supervisor Michaelenko,
Here.
counselors, Mannion,
Here.
Fiorenza,
Here.
Ruckdeschell,
Here.
Fleetwood. Here. And, Bernard Alex is absent.
The only other thing I'll say about the agenda is if there's something you hear and you don't understand, just raise your hand and I'll try to explain. I will try to explain what we're doing. But if you have a question, you're more than welcome to answer the question, and otherwise just raise your hand and I'll give it an explanation. Hopefully that'll help. Okay, any department heads we need to do in order, we can help. Sometimes I like to do the agenda in an order that helps some of the folks that are in the audience. And that way it allows them to go home early.
Robin?
Robin, is there something
I
on
think-
the agenda that you need?
Executive session.
She's an executive.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
She's in executive session, which is after the meeting, so she's got to sit here all. All right, number one, police budget adjustment from the 2025 salary line.
Good evening, how are you?
Good, how you doing, Chief?
Good, I sent an email, I think last Friday, did you guys all get that? So started a lateral transfer program, the approval of the police commission back in June, our 2025 budget. It just recently started to get some traction on that. We actually made a hire off of that program. And there's another person who put in because of that program, which I don't think will be done with that person's background investigation before the program is supposed to end. But it's starting to get kind of successful. It's no secret. It's been hard to find qualified candidates to do our profession. So my goal was, because of having so many vacancies this year, was to move over just a small portion of the money from our 2025 budget designed for officer salary into 2026 to keep that program going with the approval of the town board, and then bring it to the police commission for our December meeting. So that was the idea behind it. I think it's a small amount of money that I'm moving will be more than healthy in the officer salary line when the year is over. So I'm requesting $60,000 be moved from this year's budget, to next year's budget, just to keep that program going, to try to hire well-qualified candidates that would come work for the town to WIT. So take any questions if you have it, but the program is starting to be somewhat successful, so.
Chief, how many personnel are you authorized right now and what is your number at?
Our budgeted number is 43. We currently have 40. But that includes people inside the academy that aren't working on the road. We have officers that are deployed overseas who are in the military. So we're kind of battling right now with staffing and stuff.
What's overtime look like?
Overtime, just this last pay period, we just went over our overtime budgeted amount. But salary line, which more than make up for that moving forward, because we've been short anywhere from 5 to 3 officers for the whole entire year. So that will balance out, but we shouldn't go too much over the overtime line this year. So
And how's morale?
morale is good, but we could definitely use a couple more employees inside the building. It's been a tough year. We had guys and gals that have been deployed to the prisons, New York State prisons, didn't know about it. We have people that have been deployed overseas. So these extra 2 or 3 bodies will help us, absorb those unforeseen issues that we're having. We have people that have been injured outside of work and at work. It's been kind of a tough year, but everybody's been working really, really hard, and we're still giving good police service to the community. We're still meeting our minimum staffing requirements, and keeping within our OT line the best that we can. We did pretty good this year for the shortfall
Great.
that we've had for employees. So
Okay, for those of you that are trying to keep track, what the chief is asking is he's asking for $50,000 in the 2025 budget to be carried over to the 2026 budget. But the way most governments operate, from your federal government to your state government to your locals, to your town government, each year we put together a budget. We spend or do not spend certain portions of that budget. And then it's erased out at the end of the year, so that the budget starting January 1 is 0. So any monies that we had left in the 2025 budget drop back into what we call a general fund. And that general fund or balance is carried over to 2026. And so what he's asking for is to take $50,000 that would have dropped into the general fund to be restored to his police department fund in 2026. With that, I'll entertain a motion from Sarah and a second from Joe. Any further discussion?
It's 60, that's
I'll call for the vote.
60, that's.
What's that?
60.
Oh, I
You're
heard.
a good story.
I-
You're trying to take your 5 cents. I'll let you have the 60. All right, go again.
I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion's carried. Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Maybe thank you later.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. RAC, request to join New York Wastewater and Water Agency Response Network.
This is a mutual aid throughout the state that is no cost to us. We'd like to join this. This is something that the health department has asked us to do, like in conjunction with Aqua, which we have a great relationship with Aqua, but this would help us legally to share parts and services with them if need be. So it would give us throughout the whole state actually, but our closest one would be Aqua we would be dealing with. And we don't have to help them, but if we can help them, we have a part that they need, then we could share that with them, then they would replace that. So any questions on that?
Well, it's good to be.
No
I
cost.
think you understood that, right? There's a mutual aid among water departments. Aqua is the largest authority in central New York.
Yep.
And so they're our closest ally or partner in these types of problems. So if we had a major water crisis or a break, we could rely on them. And then if they have something in or near our water department and they have a crisis, we'll be there to help them. Okay, I'll entertain a motion from Max and a second from Carrie. I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion's carried. Okay. Water rate discussion.
So we've had some internal meetings at budget and then with Robin, We got an increase notification from Aqua, so we would like to talk about water rates tonight. With the improvements that we're doing to the system, and everything else that's going on with the SCADA, we feel that we're gonna have to readdress our water rates. And Carrie and Max, if you guys want to talk about that too, any input?
Yeah, so basically the Aqua is gonna be increasing the price we pay them for the water that we're supplying our residents by 12%. So, is it 12.5? 12.5%. So we have to pass that cost along to our customers, our residents. And so we're actually proposing, with all the other improvements that we're doing and some increased costs of increasing our water rates 15% for 2026, so that we can just cover the cost of the water and the cost of the upgrades and repairs to the system.
For those in the audience, we have 6 water tanks in our system. Every one of those tanks has been refurbished in the last year or two at a cost of over $1 million each. Things like rebuilding the tank, restructuring the electrical equipment and the valves and the pumps. And then we've had a number of water projects throughout the system, trying to stay ahead of the aging pipes in various locations. And along with, we've updated our system to tell us important information, but we call it a SCADA system. And that's a computerized system that allows us to look at water being used in homes. Our system in the past, if you had a break inside your house, you might be away on vacation, you'd come back to your house being totally flooded. Our system today will tell us you have a break inside your house based on the amount of water that's passing through your meter. So we can run to that location even if you're on vacation and shut the water off on an outside valve. We're repairing our valves and our hydrants and our meters. So we're spending literally tens of millions of dollars on the water system. So that justifies the increase in the rates. Okay, I'll take a motion from Carrie and a second from Max. I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion's carried.
Thank you.
Okay. Add a title of secretary to the supervisor roster.
Yeah, so at the in our budget for 2026, we budgeted for this position, but as we were reviewing the roster, the town by statute has either a secretary to the supervisor or a bookkeeper. And we had last had the bookkeeper filled, so we have the bookkeeper on our roster now, but not the secretary on our roster. So this is just to ask civil service to put this on our roster so that we can fill the position.
Right. Okay. There's what's called a civil service list, and we do not have this job title on our civil service list right now. So we're filing with Onondaga County to put this title into our list of jobs that we have here at the town. And I'll use this opportunity to thank Angela, because there always was a secretary to the supervisor. And when I became supervisor, I, at the time, or for the past 18 years, have not felt I needed a full-time assistant or secretary. And that's because I had Angela, who has been my right hand ever since I came on board. So I do want to acknowledge her and thank her. But we have a new supervisor that's going to take over in January, and he is going to need an assistant. Angela's already got 2 jobs. Since I brought her on as my assistant, she's become the town clerk and the tax receiver. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion from Max, a second from Sarah. We'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion's carried. Okay, set the public hearing for the road dedication at Woodchuck Estates.
approached by the attorney for Dan King, and this is in regard to Woodchuck Estates.
Yeah.
It's the new development that's on Woodchuck Hill Road by the gun range. I'm sure a lot of students drive by this every day to go to school. This is merely for them to dedicate the road they built to the town, assuming it meets all the town specs. That road will become our road and we'll take care of it like any other residential road that is in our possession in the town. To do that, we need to set a public hearing. I did advise them that this is a very difficult time to do anything with our town board at the end of the year, but I was hoping that we could schedule it for December 22nd, just not December 8th, because I do have to send out notices and get all these things together. And I need an updated title policy from Mike Vogel, which he's getting to us.
They prefer December over January?
They prefer to get this done.
And Rocco, you've inspected it?
Yeah, but we still got to talk about securities. I got to talk with Doug and stuff, but you can schedule your public hearing, but there's some stuff that we still need to discuss.
If you'd like to do it in January, that's fine.
Let's get it over with December.
22nd, that's okay, just not the 8th.
Yeah, well, you guys complaining on me.
We have a quick meeting, on the 22nd.
That's fine.
Right.
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion from Carrie and a second from Joe. This is a developer that's put in a new neighborhood right off of Woodchuck Hill Road, and the town has to go through the legal process before they can accept the road. And the conversation that you heard between the highway superintendent and the board was that the engineer and the highway superintendent still have a few inspections to make before we can say we'll fully accept the road. The public hearing is going to be scheduled right before Christmas. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Motion's carried. Yeah.
We didn't put a time to it.
Oh,
6:05.
6:05 on December 22nd.
Unless you guys want to start at 5 on December 22nd.
Stand by.
It'd be nice to get it done early.
Does the board want to?
Can accommodate at 5 o'clock.
Janice, can we do that?
Yeah, if you want to, you just got to make a motion to set up.
Yeah, we gotta
change the
We have to
time.
move the board meeting as well.
Yeah. Time and take notices. I mean, how's the board feel about it? I figure that Monday's gonna probably be a quiet Monday.
I appreciate it.
The board meeting first and then set the public hearing.
Right. So,
I'll make a motion. for
so,
that.
all right. I have a motion from Carrie to set the 22nd meeting at 5 o'clock. Joe is the second. I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion's carried. Got to notice to everyone, including the board members that aren't here.
And then when do you want-
Okay, now
when do you want this public
We're gonna redo that
5:05.
5:05?
Yeah, 5:05 on the public hearing for the road conveyance. We're good. I'll call for the vote.
Aye.
Oh, yeah. Any opposed, abstained, motion's carried. Okay. So now we're back to the town board minutes.
Motion to
I have
accept.
a motion to accept the minutes from Carrie and a second from Sarah. I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion's carried. The town board minutes, that was the last meeting of November 10th. And minutes are just of the written record of the prior meeting. Okay, the check registers from October into November. Anyone had a chance to review?
Yep.
Sure. Acceptable. I have a motion from Carrie and a second. Joe, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried. What the check registries are they're the bi-weekly expenses that the comptroller's office, all the bills that have been paid. So you can go through that register and look the who and when the town has written checks to or expenses. Okay, any town board updates? No? You guys are lucky. You picked a real good meeting to show up to. December, November, they're really slow months. we go into our budget season, sometimes we can sit here till 11:30. In fact, we moved our meetings up to 6 o'clock because we did have meetings pushing up against midnight.
Do you want to do this?
Oh, yeah, right. I have the carrier land donation.
May I explain that?
Yes.
We've been
No.
working for many months to acquire a certain parcel of land from Carrier that's adjacent to Carrier Park for the public and park goers to park on. It's taken a little longer than I would have liked, but we've gotten all the way to the finish line and we got final map. We got it signed by all of these parties and it got to the county clerk and we were told that they would not accept the map. So I called Emily Essie, who's the county clerk. She was very nice and helpful. She talked to me, she calmed me down, and she basically said that everything's okay. And basically the town just needs to consent to the lot line adjustment. And the issue was instead of a subdivision where Carrier subdivides the land and donates it to us, they did a lot line adjustment. So we had a lot line adjustment map that was trying to be filed as a subdivision map. The county clerk said no, and she said, well, you can do it this way, but the town board needs to consent to the lot line adjustment map and approve the conveyance. So that's all this is saying here, that the town board consents to a lot line adjustment as set forth in the map and approves the conveyance of the Carrier donation parcel. I can read this resolution in full if you'd like, but that's up to the board.
They were almost ready to leave.
It's not that long, or the board can just accept it. The whole board's
Yeah.
got it.
Read it.
I just explained what's in it.
Yeah, Joe wants to read it.
Okay. Whereas Carrier Corporation is donating 7.41 acre parcel as more fully described on Exhibit A, here and after the Carrier donation parcel to the town of DeWitt as more fully set forth in that certain donation agreement between Carrier Corporation and the town of DeWitt dated August 6th, 2025. And whereas a map entitled Lot Line Adjustment for Carrier Park Donation Parcel, setting forth the Carrier donation parcel, was prepared by Paul J. Olszewski, PLS, dated June 19th, 2023, the lot line adjustment map. And whereas the town is satisfied that the Carrier donation parcel either meets or is exempt from all town codes relating to the Carrier donation parcel. And now therefore be it resolved, the town board consents to the lot line adjustment as more fully set forth on the lot line adjustment map and approves the conveyance of the Carrier donation parcel subject to the following. A, the lot line adjustment map shall be filed in the office of the Onondaga County Clerk. And B, the deed from Carrier Corporation to the town of DeWitt shall be filed in the office of the Onondaga County Clerk, along with all supporting documents, including the New York environmental easement, as more fully referenced in the donation agreement. We have all other paperwork ready and accepted and prepared to file. And this is the final piece. Hopefully the town will approve.
So can you just explain for my,
Then I North parking lot did.
is this in the lot line adjustment, is this appending the parking lot to the Carrier Park parcel?
It's moving, the parcels are right next to each other. So
Yeah.
it's just adjusting our property line around the donation parcel instead of them first subdividing it and
Yeah,
donating.
so it's not going to be a separate parcel. It's just going to be an expansion
It's going to be
of,
absorbed into our parcel. That's correct. Just adjusting the lot line.
And if any of you have been to Carrier Park, we have the parking lot is on the north side of the fields. This is just to the north of that. There's an area that's been grassed and there is no pavement. They're donating that to us and we will expand the size of our parking lots into this new area. So with that, I'll make the motion. I don't do it often, but I will on this. I'll have Joe make the second. I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion's carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Seal.
Okay,
Perfect.
in that same,
Nice job, John. The big part of the park.
yeah, in that same vein with there is the netting for the walkways in between all the fields that would keep observers and people inside the park safe from foul balls landing on their heads. Did it forward this to you before last meeting and we deferred it. The cost of the materials and installation is $258,000 and change. But again, we have also the finances that have been set out. But hoping that we would authorize that tonight and that would free the contractors to start the installation. I've also forwarded those costs to the Friends organizations, and they are adding that to their list of items that can be paid for. Yeah, right. They have a couple of high-end donors that have paid for, let's say, scoreboards and screenings and so on. So now they've added this to their deck for approval. But in the interim, until we approve this, it's not going to get installed.
I am a little concerned about the total cost of the project just right now. And that we're kind of already over a cost.
Yeah.
And I understand the value of the addition, but right now, without funding, it's just coming out of the general fund to do.
But my attitude is you can always install next year's hotel tax
Or
to replace that.
Isn't that already captured?
well, I think,
Oh, she didn't. She's only captured the last two. 24 and 25 are in the.
I own,
26 is not.
but 26 is going toward paying the bond payments. Or the, because I think the bond payments start coming due next year, don't they?
Yeah, but we're still, the bond payments are under what we're like. Much of collecting.
You can.
This is, we
Can-
have to do this and we don't have a choice. So it's a matter of, do we wait?
Well, I mean, I'm just wondering,
You can always, it was my understanding you can defer the bond payments another year or two.
I mean, I don't like to do it. However, just like we need stands, just like we need parking lots.
so why was it missed?
Yeah.
That's my, I mean,
Well, that's a whole nother conversation.
And have any costs been incurred to date to support the nets? Have they already purchased the nets? Have they already started the installation for it?
I don't believe
No.
that.
Well, the answer to that is no.
nothing's been done.
It's a $15-20 million project that gonna have contingencies in there, and we put contingencies in there. We're pretty close to the budget we did 2 years ago. Again, this is a large number. I don't like to spend the money. However, it's gotta be done. If we wanna wait another 2 weeks to see if we can bid it out to get a better price, we can do it.
Well, I don't know that we're gonna get a better price for it. I mean, but I wish
Are we able to how did the meeting with the Friends go? Are we able to discuss that? Were they favorable? Did they sound enthusiastic? Is this?
They sound enthusiastic about the funding. They are, again, in a position now that they can take donors to the facility and show them basically a finished product.
Have they committed that they will raise X number of funds in the next 6 months, 1
I
year?
believe they can raise millions. Now, how fast it's going to take them. That's why I was surprised we bonded so quickly, because the original plan was to defer and use the bond anticipation note for the length of period of time that we could. That would then give them time to raise funds. If you deferred the payment for 2 years, it would give the Friends organization time to bring money back to us. Once you've bonded, now you got to start making bond payments. And there's a risk with the bond anticipation note that the cost of the final secure of the bond goes up, right? If interest rates increase, then but it's a trade-off. But the Friends organization, and you're more than welcome to talk to them, but I do believe they can raise millions.
we don't have a choice. We've only, Controller Fusco did send out
She sent the summary, yeah.
she sent the summary today that has Friends raising 1,475,000. I think that's low. I mean, they're gonna be able to raise much more than that. My opinion, I think our room
She's
I think our room
numbers in
occupancy
the,
tax number is conservative. I think we'll go above the room occupancy tax. And I know I don't have the bond payments right in front of me, but they're $150,000 to $200,000 less than the room occupancy tax that we're gonna collect. We've come a long way on this project. We should all be very proud of what we've accomplished. We did it. I mean, if the whole board has been involved for many years and a lot of different pieces, a lot of different parts. But the Friends have been out there raising money. And they'll continue to raise money. The hotel tax, with many of us on the board were quite involved with, was a huge part of this program, and
we wouldn't have went forward with where we're
we've
at.
got more
today.
hotels being built in
Hotel-
the town of DeWitt. There'll probably be a couple more built this year, probably a couple more in the year after. I'm fully comfortable with being able to pay for the netting. And again, I don't know if that netting is the right price. That's what I don't know. I'm not a netting expert.
Do we not have to go out to bid for 3 bids based on the cost?
I don't know.
Or is this
Again,
a formal change order?
This is what Tim Mulvey does, right? I mean, he's your architect and he has brought these places. What?
Why isn't Tim here? I guess my frustration point comes because I understand there are contingencies, there are add-ons to the project. This one has grown considerably over this year alone. And I feel as though, again, I will say it, the town has been at the receiving end of a we must do this now versus somebody from the project coming, explaining to us what the situation is, what the options are, and how they plan to resolve it. So we're constantly being told we need to do this, give us more money, but yet they are not being proactive in helping us understand the whys of the house. And I'm looking at the Friends and
I can bring Tim to the meeting. This is my fault. I mean, asked for 2 weeks. I gave you 2 weeks. I didn't hear a question in that entire 2-week period. If you had a question, you needed to direct it to me and you needed to direct it to Tim.
and that's
I
fair.
have another 2 weeks and you can drill your questions, but to have him come here because it's convenient for you, it'd have been a lot more convenient for Tim to hear that question 2 weeks ago.
And I agree with that. I also believe Tim should have been here in the front end when he was asking for an additional $250,000 for this project. They're big numbers. And Carrie has a valid point that this is a large project and comparatively, the numbers that we're asking for approval for tonight are a fraction of the total project cost. I'm just concerned at the amount in which additional costs are adding up to get this project completed.
Okay, we'll defer this.
We've had change orders thus far of 1,044,000. This will bring up to 1,500,000. I know when we were doing our initial budgeting, I think we put a contingency in there for about 1,700,000. So I'm not surprised at this, just because projects usually you put a 10-15% contingency in.
And it's normal. It's the way we are being treated along in the
I
process.
don't have a problem with having Tim come. I'd love to see him again. We're almost done with the project. It'd be good to hear his synopsis of where we are on the project. We're having a meeting on the 22nd. Hopefully he's not going away for Christmas and
Yeah, we can have him here on the 8th.
Does it delay though? I'm not looking to stand in the way. I'm looking to voice a concern at the way that this project is being handed to us as the town.
That's my fault. I'm not sure what you're looking at, what you're being communicated on. Most of these numbers have been kicked around for years. Again, I would have deferred the bonding and these numbers would have been finalized at the point in time you went to the bond. Because we were talking anywhere from 7 million to 12 million on the bond. It turned out, but you didn't have all your costs lined up. and you don't have the fundraising and you didn't have, you know, things like the county donation number that was floating between 6 million and 1 million, or, I mean, these numbers have bounced back and forth year after year. The longer you wait, the longer these things increase in cost. So again, you can defer this cost and we'll get it straightened out.
Are there other items besides the netting that are on the horizon?
Not that I know of, but that might be a good reason to have Tim come in on
Major
the.
things that we could expect?
The parking costs themselves, right? We didn't cost out what it's gonna take if you know,
To make a park.
make a parking lot. You're certainly not gonna make a full parking lot at this point. You're gonna put crushed stone in that area and you're gonna add some curb cuts or whatever. You've got the neighborhood concerned with Roby, right? So you're gonna have to go through a public process to close off Roby, but you're gonna have to gate it. And so the costs associated with that probably are gonna be relatively minor, right? The things that we're talking about in terms of the control of the costs are, put a gate up like you've got across the Butternut Trail.
Yep.
Butternut Creek Trail, right? You want to be able to allow emergency vehicles in, but there's another couple neighbors yet that are looking for a cedar fence, right? They have visual, a clear line of vision into the park, and a lot of the other neighbors have got the cedar fence, and so they wanted the cedar fence. So there's going to be an increased cost on the cedar fence. Now, those costs are going to pale next to this netting, but there's still going to be some additional costs. So there's fencing along,
I just meant major, like major, like more major stuff like.
yeah, I don't anticipate anything major. There's major stuff down the road. You still haven't finished the pavilion, right? We know our most recent costs on the pavilion were about 1.5 million. So by the time you do it, it'll be 2 million. Right? I mean, you got to rebuild the support so there's subterranean work that's not cheap, and that's one of the major costs on the pavilion. So underneath the structure itself is got to be a new foundation. So, yeah, if you put lighting in the parking lot, there'll be an added heavy lift on that. So there's going to be costs associated with the Verizon road. If there's been talk of discussion of Verizon would like to donate that road, that will give greater access off of Thompson Road. But there's going to be changes, engineering, remodification of that road, that intersection, that red light gets you into the park. So there's stuff, and I intend to stay involved with that. But it's
So why don't we see if we can get Tim Bonaparte here on the 8th and
yeah.
just can explain this process and how we arrive at this cost, and then we can ask him directly that question. Between now and there's long-term costs that are going to come, definitely for expansions and other things that the park will need. But is there anything else that's going to come in the next 6 months that needs to finish this phase?
You need to decide internally what you're going to do with maintenance of the facility and things like concessions. You've got GDL Sports looking for contract extension. So that decision's got to be made relatively soon, because you have to give the contractor opportunity to book events out into 2027, and that'll all occur in 2026. And so,
yeah, it's definitely something that
You don't want-
it's not an end of the year, it's a beginning of the year.
right. So you're going to have to figure out what you want. So those are all conversations that I intend to hold over the next month before I leave. But I would think we'd like to be close to having some decisions made on these before the end of the year.
And actually, if we're gonna have Tim Barnhart come, it would be helpful too to probably have Terry Summers with Rich and Gardner coming at the same time.
Sure. Well, yeah, we'll try to get the whole team. We'll get Doug here too. At the next meeting. All right, so for those of you in the audience, we've been discussing the Carrier Park project. It's a multi-million-dollar facility. I think the town board has supported it in the understanding that the major industry in the town of DeWitt is hotels. We probably have over $120 million in property value assessment in the town of DeWitt. That industry is critical to our commercial districts. As the industry's dried up over the years, the hotel district has suffered. And therefore, this investment is something that helps preserve property values in that area and helps keep the hotels lucrative. But the tourism industry is growing. Multi-billion-dollar industry is recreational sports. People travel with their student athletes on a regular basis. And so that industry is growing, and the town of DeWitt is one of the leaders in that facility. And then on top of that, our Friends organization is highly coupled to the Challenger Group. But what makes our facility different than any other recreational facility that we know of is that it accommodates both physically and mentally challenged individuals, and we encourage the park to be used for those purposes. So anyways, it's been a long journey. We're almost to a point in time where we can look and say we're close to finished, and we'll continue this discussion, I'm sure, through 2026 and beyond. Any other? All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Executive session.
Excuse me, yeah. Entertain a motion to enter executive session from Joe, second from Carrie. I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained, motion's carried. For those of you that need a signature, you can approach any one of the board members and they can sign your statements. The two newly elected officials, please stay. You can ease your way into elected office.
Very good.